I remember, and every time I'd wear this too, I would always get comments. Always. What are you wearing? I said, you like it? I remember I was uptown, and I was hugging a couple of girls at the same time. Yeah, it was a little crazy back in the day. But I was hugging a couple of girls at the same time. And then after I embraced and like, oh, just, wow, you smell great. What are you wearing? And I said, Dolce Gabbana for Homme. You want to bring it in again? Bring it in. Hola mi gente. Hey guys, welcome to my channel, Flavor. The flavor today is we're going to do some side-by-side comparisons of some men's cologne, EDT if you prefer. First up, the docket. Please hold. Bam! Hugo Boss, #1, original version, 1985, I believe. And bam! Hugo Boss, I believe 2021, #1 version. Let's get you a close-up on the bottle. Steady. Okay. And let's see right side up. I believe it's 125 ml. Steady. As you can see, this is damn near empty. And then on the newer bottle, close up. Very sophisticated and steady. Top of the bottle there. Steady. And let's go for the bottom. I believe this is right side up here. And I think this is 100 ml and steady. Side by side. Boom. Very sophisticated, classy bottling package here. But old school is old school, so represent. Okay. So, getting into the 1985 original version. I remember this back in the day. My brother had it. He used to sneak into his room and smell the scents that he had. He was a connoisseur, if you will. And I remember when I smelled this, and even to this day, and although there's nothing left, I still can get the scent of it, so I love it. It stood out differently than all the other colognes that I smelled in this room. and one of the things that really came out to me is that it's very manly. I got that right away. As much as it is a fragrance, right? It's a very manly fragrance. And that's really what stood out to me. Loved it at the time, love it now. I still see if I can squeeze a little bit. But yeah, very, very manly. Although it still has its aroma and it still has this fragrance that it will attract the opposite sex and still smell nice. It's not too manly that it takes away from a light fragrance, attractive scent, if you will, especially with a lot of the top notes it might have. But you know right away, if you're smelling this, it's still a manly scent. Loved it. Still love it to this day. Interestingly enough, I got this when they weren't selling a lot of these bottles anymore. They're still not. I mean, now if you go online, they'll probably price it over 100. I got this at a Shoppers Drug Mart, and it was for 20 bucks, and it was the last one on their shelf. And I believe it was for 20 bucks because they're trying to get rid of it, and they haven't been able to. And I looked at that, and I said, $20? I'm like, you don't know how much you should be selling this for. I'll take it. And it was funny. I remember the cashier looking at me while I was buying it, and I think she was astonished to how happy I was in purchasing this, because she didn't realize the jewel that they had in here. $20, I'll take it. So very nice. I'd rate this then the same way I would rate it now, 8.5 out of 10. Strong as that. To be honest with you, it takes a lot for me to not give it a 9. That's how good it is. So anyone rating this 8.5 or 9, I'll take that score. I'm not arguing it's a 9. That's how strong and powerful this is. And when you walk into a room, from my understanding too, a lot of people back in the day too, executives would wear this, and very good. You wear this and your executive, strong sophistication right here. So I appreciate that. And whenever, if I'm rating something very, very high, I don't like necessarily for you to wear it on a daily unless you're in a position like that, because I don't want you to waste it. You know what I mean? That's how you wear for special occasions. And this is good enough that it's all year round. People might say it's for winter season. If it's that good, you wear it all year round. All right. Let's get back to the newer version. I believe 2021 for this. And just to speak to people who might say it's the same thing, it will remind you of the older version. I think with this version, though, the top notes are a little bit more, and essentially it has, I believe, more honey in it. So it's more sweeter. All right. Let's take a spray here. Oh, I'm spraying it to you. Let's waft. Let's waft it. Very nice. Very light in the air. A couple sprays there. So it does remind me of the original number one 1985 version. But if you're going to ask me the same, no, they're not the same. I can smell distinctly different. And it's sweeter. It's a lot sweeter. And that may be, there's honey in this one, or at least more honey in the, I think it's 2021 version. So it's much more sweeter. And the more it dries down, the more it reminds me of the 1984 version, 1885 version, but not right away. Not right away. Right away, it's fresh. It's very light. I think it's lemon, green apple, grapefruit, very lighter top notes, and that honey, that sweetness. And I'm not disrespecting the sweetness. I appreciate it. But that's a significant difference from that manly smell of the original 85 version of Hugo Boss number one. I like it, but that additional honey for me, I'm not gonna say it doesn't do it, because I still like it. It's a different life though. So if I were to rate, and once again, let's bring this back up. Boom, boom, boom. Love the bottling. Like the bottling is on point, sophisticated. But if I were to rate this out of 10, I'd rate a strong 7.5. I just think it's a little too much honey. You went over the top. And maybe you went over the top to change the difference, to make it significantly different than the original in smelling. But it's just a little too over the top. That honey makes it very feminine. I should say very feminine, more feminine than the original. Not that anything's wrong with that, because I appreciate a little honey sweetness too, but you can tell that difference. So if I had a choice, let's just say both are the same price, and I have a choice to buy either one, I'm taking the 8.5 out of 10 all day over the 7.5 out of 10. But would I ever regret purchasing the 7.5 out of 10? No, not at all. Not at all. This more of a summery, and because of that honey, it's more of a summery, springish type of wear. Where here, you would more winter, but here you wear all year round. Here is summery, springish. But yeah, definitely 7.5 out of 10. A lot more honey, a lot more probably top notes, lighter if you will. 8.5 out of 10, more manly. And you appreciate this. When you smell them both, you appreciate the original, right? But yeah, I'm gonna go with the original all day, every day, twice on Sunday. It's about a point difference. The next OG from a today version in regards to comparison. Bing, 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 bing. Bam! Dolce and Gabbana. All right. So let me give you the old school bottling first. You'll notice that label stuck on. Oh, that's the old school Dolce Gabbana. And let me flip you down to and hold. If you can read that. So this old school Dolce and Gabbana bottle, believe it's 125 ml, and made in Italy. When I smell this in my brother's room, or when the little smell test, don't tell him I said that. Blew me away. So as you can see, this is, just really done. You know what I mean? Really done. But I don't know if I can get but I can smell them. Just so good and fresh. Once again, kind of like the old school of the 1985 Boss. And I believe, let me check. I believe this is 1992. 1994 when this came out. And let me see if I can get Okay, good. Just nice, fresh, light, something that I've never smelled before. It's although it has light notes, I don't really see it as feminine notes. They're light. They're like a light manly notes. You know what I mean? And I appreciate that. I remember, and every time I'd wear this too, I would always get comments. Always. What are you wearing? I said, you like it? I remember I was uptown, and I was hugging a couple of girls at the same time. Yeah, it was a little crazy back in the day. But I was hugging a couple of girls at the same time. And then after I embraced and just, wow, you smell great. What are you wearing? And I said, Dolce Gabbana for Homme. You want to bring it in again? Bring it in. Every time. I've never had someone comment and not like this. Old school, 1992. Now let's compare it to the new school. Bam! Right, and you'll notice it's printed right on the bottle. No sticker on the bottle. I believe this version came out 2012. And I'll give you the backing of this bottle here, if you can see it. And hold. Okay, so I believe it's a 125 milliliter bottle as well. And this one made in France. I think there's been other versions made in another country as well. But from the original, 1994, that was Italy. This 2012 version, made in France. And I believe there's one more country, but I'm not too sure. We're gonna boom on this smell. Okay, so we did a Hugo Boss comparison earlier. The 1985 original one to 2021 Boss. And there's a significant difference. Honey, specifically. When I do this comparison of the old school bottle and the new school bottle, this one reminds me more of the original Dolce Gabbana than the new school Hugo Boss 2021 reminds me of the 1985 #1 Hugo Boss bottle. This one really is more closely related to this. Can I tell a difference? Yes. Yes, I can. Very aromatic here. I think, you know what I'm noticing? There's a lot, the top notes here, and even in the top notes, I believe in the newer Hugo Boss, change slightly. I think they, for some reason on that fragrance, they want to uplift it even more. So they change a lot more. Let's see if we, citrus, bergamot, neroli, mandarin orange, lavender, sage and pepper. So it looks like on sage for the newer bottle, and okay, there's a little bit of sage on the older bottle too. Yeah, there's a lot of ingredients on the older bottle. Looks like iris that I don't see on the newer bottle as well. I love it. I love it too, and it reminds me of the old bottle. but it's not the same, you know. So any, you know, and I think it's with any companies, if they're bringing something out that they had old school, they're going to change it somewhat, you know. Hopefully it will always remind you of the older version, but they're going to change that version. And typically I find probably in the middle notes and the top notes, they'll bring that out. They'll make it lighter. They'll make it sweeter. And that's what I find. They'll make it more fragrance, less manly-ish. And that's what I find in both of these, right? So, new old school bottle, 1994. My rating, 10 out of 10. I have 3 10 out of 10 bottles. This is one of them, 10 out of 10, easily. The newer school, 2021-ish version, France. Love it. Reminds me, very closely related. Would I give this out of 10? 9 out of 10. 9 out of 10. 9 out of 10. It takes off a point. I gotta be so I will say this. From the old school 1985 Hugo Boss #1 and the old school Dolce Gabbana, I believe 1994, if you can grab these bottles again, I would, right? I'm not on the hunt for them, but every now and then if I pass her by and if I see it for a good price, I'm going to take it because they are different than the new school bottles. But don't sleep on these new school bottles. 7.5 out of 10, and that's a strong 7.5. 9 out of 10, and that's a strong 9. Don't sleep on these new school bottles thinking that they can't perform. They perform. They perform well. Lasting too, very lasting. Listen to me. I like to last anyway. So, still talking about cologne. Anyway, it's about 10 sprays anyway. But I might even carry one of the small bottles, you know, for later in the evening. But yeah, don't sleep on these. 7.5 out of 10, 9 out of 10, newer school, 2021, and I believe this is 2012-ish. And then the old school bottles, 85, 94, 8.5 out of 10, 10 out of 10, Italy. That's how you got it. So you got both comparisons of the Hugo Boss #1 and Dolce Gabbana. Hope you like the review. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe. And until next time, deuces.
Give it one more chance.